He draws a mustache on the Mona Lisa. She makes fun of social standards. He ridicules a political figure. All three have something in common. They are satirists, trying to change things by using the form of persuasion we call satire. Satire is probably as old as the spoken word. We can still enjoy some satires that go as far back as 500 BC. In recent times, many of our major writers have written satires in poetry, drama, essays, short stories, novels. And there's satire in film. And in music and art, too. Over its long history, in whatever form, all satire has shared certain characteristics. Most important, satire sets out to change things, to reform people, society, or society's institutions. To change people, the pompous, the domineering, the hypocritical. To change society, its manners, morals, and customs. To change institutions, political, economic, religious. Satire tries to make us think about these and other things, and then change the way we act.
My boss says, now that y'all have got the Civil Rights Bill and the Supreme Court, Adam Powell in Congress, Ralph Bunche in the United Nations, and Leontine Price singing in the Metropolitan Opera, plus Dr. Martin Luther King getting the Nobel Prize, what more do you want? I am asking you, just what does the Negro want? I am not the Negro, I said. I am me. Well, says my boss, you represent the Negro. I do not, I says. I represent my own self. Ralph Bunche represents you then, says my boss. And Thurgood Marshall and Martin Luther King, do they not? So far as I know, they do not even live in Harlem. I cannot find them in the telephone book. They all got private numbers. But since you say they represent the Negro, why do you not ask them what the Negro wants? I cannot get to them, says my boss. Neither can I said. So we both is in the same boat.
You can see that satire has much the same goal as the sermon urging the congregation to be less materialistic, or the pep rally firing up the team for victory. But the difference is this. Satire always uses humor to try to bring about change. And in this way, satire can persuade us without being obvious about it. Consider Jonathan Swift's satiric solution to the Irish famine of the 18th century. He called it a modest proposal.
I shall now, therefore, humbly propose my own thoughts, which I hope will not be liable to the least objection. I have been assured by a very knowing American of my acquaintance in London that a young, healthy child, well nursed, is, at a year old, a most delicious, nourishing, and wholesome food, whether stewed, roasted, baked, or boiled, and I make no doubt that it will serve equally in a fricassee or a ragout. I grant this food will be somewhat dear, and therefore very proper for landlords, who, as they have already devoured most of the parents, seem to have the best title to the children.
Swift's modest proposal is anything but modest. It's such a brutal suggestion that we can't take it seriously. But what we are to take seriously is the problem of starvation in Ireland and the English indifference to it. Swift has tried to change things, but he has avoided telling us to change.